You also had the distinction of being the only Michigan person in the 20th century to be both a United States Senator and a state Supreme Court Justice. And I think that with the possible exception of Senator Vandenberg, and it depends a little bit on how you view his position in the Senate, you were the only Michigan member of the Senate to have a leadership position, perhaps in the history of the Senate.
Well, as far as anybody's been able to come up with in terms of research, it does appear to be that way, yes.
That's a marvelous, marvelous legacy and a marvelous record. Looking back, now that you have retired from the state Supreme Court, not having run again in 1994.
You know why? Because there's a state constitutional provision
Yes,
that says
there is.
after you're 70, now I know I don't look like I'm 70, that you can't run for judicial office.
Yes.
And that's the reason Soapy went off the court. And ironically, I took his place on the court. But I think one of the great things that I want to acknowledge, publicly, is the graciousness of Soapy Williams being there when I was sworn in, making very nice statements about me, and all the way through our history, he and I always got along very well. And I'm always glad to pay tribute to him because he deserves it.
Looking back on your career, what do you regard as your greatest accomplishment?
Perhaps the negative result, if you look at it that way, of keeping Fortas from becoming Chief Justice. And it hasn't been recognized as being that important and historic, but I think it should be, and in time it will be, because really that was a turning point and a change as far as not only the history of the Supreme Court is concerned, but gave the opportunity for Warren Burger to be appointed, and the Burger Court came into existence as a result of Fortas being defeated. And the course of the Supreme Court didn't radically change to the right, but it came back to the middle. I think most people would agree with that. And I think the other effect was upon the Senate. The Senate itself changed as a result of the Fortas battle, which I've already said. Now the Senate looks at each one of these very, very carefully. Some people think too carefully. I don't think you can be too careful about selecting Supreme Court justices for life.
Coming full circle in this interview, you started out as a very young person in politics. What advice would you have for a young person who is interested in politics?
Well, if he's got a good wife who's willing to support him.
Which you certainly have had.
That's right. He should do it. The country needs people at all levels. You may not want to start at the congressional level like I foolishly tried to do and somehow accomplished, but to be active in local government at a different level and then move up. No, the country, depends upon those young people coming forth and serving. And it was a great experience, one that, there was a lot of disappointment, a lot of heartache, and losing is an experience that is character building, I think. And I would be the first to admit that. But taking the risk and getting in the arena and trying to do the right thing and try to serve is a wonderful experience and a satisfying experience that I would encourage young people to take on.
Thank you again for sharing your memories and insights with us. Bob Griffin has indeed had an exciting and remarkable political career. Michigan and America are richer for it.